Joining me now is Kyle Hill, who fights next on July 30th at NEF 48 when he meets Curtis Ouellette for the vacant 170-pound title. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I can't wait for this NEF 48 card. It's going to be down in Southern Maine on the water. How pumped are you, man?
I'm really excited. I'm excited to show up, show off, and show out, man.
Now, I got to imagine, this is the venue is kind of close to where Nostos is, or at least relatively speaking. Do you guys expect to have a lot of support there come fight night?
Oh, yeah. I think we got like 6 or 7 guys fighting on the card, including myself. So I'm going to have that whole venue packed out. I'm excited to hear the crowd roaring.
How pumped are you for just this title fight? Because you're only 2-0 as an amateur right now. You don't see too many guys in your position get a title fight so soon in their career.
I feel like ever since I started doing this when I was 15, like, I don't know, I feel like I've been waiting for this moment and it's here. I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I prepared. This is one of the hardest camps I've had. I trained with some of the best guys. Trained with Nathan Grimmerd, David Burke, Ross Denar. The Exeter Airline squad. Like, they know how to wrestle. They know how to fight. I'm ready.
What is that weight cut for you like to get to 170?
170 isn't too bad. If I get my diet in check and I know I got a fight coming, like now, it's not too bad.
Do you feel like you might ever explore the waters of other weight classes, or is 170 going to be your home as far as amateur goes anyways?
For now, I'm going to stick to 170. Maybe in the future go up, but I doubt it. I'm going to stick at 170. I feel like my body is right for this weight class.
I spoke to Curtis earlier today, and he says he gets north of 200 pounds. I don't know if you've seen him in person or not. I'm sure you've seen tape of his fights. Do you feel like there's going to be a size or strength difference in this fight?
He might like be bigger. Sure, he might weigh a little bit more, but I'm in the same boat, dude. I get to 200 pounds outside of fight camp too. But I'm not going to be cutting from 200 to 170 in a month. That's how you like get damaged easier in the fight. You lose that water in your brain. It's going to be easier to KO you. So
now you haven't fought since October of last year, so a little bit of a layoff. Is there a reason for that?
Some injuries, whatnot. I've been coaching a lot. I've been stepping back and coaching some of the fighters, but also just training a lot. Like, I've been really trying to refine my jiu-jitsu and my striking. But yeah, I fought right before, I think he fought my buddy Derek Lambert like a week after I fought. And Derek was one of my main training partners for his camp and my whole camp.
I'm talking about that last fight, Combat Zone 74, round 1 RNC victory over Evan Aubrey. How pleased are you and your team with that performance?
I was happy with it. It's not my favorite fight. I think I could have done a lot better, and I'm looking to do a lot better this one.
And in your debut, it was a split win, and that was in February of last year in Tampa, Florida. What was that experience like, actually making your amateur debut and doing it down in hostile territory where you're playing the villain?
I honestly like that a lot. Like, I love hearing the crowd like not liking me. I'm coming in with my team. We're the kill crew. We're coming in to win, and having the crowd boo honestly hypes me up more. He was a game opponent. I always give Charles props. He was a D1 wrestler, and he threw me on my ass a few times.
And I'm sure you've been watching MMA recently, especially, and there's so many controversial judging decisions. Did you feel confident when you went to the judges that you're going to get the nod?
Yes and no. I knew I was in hostile territory. I felt like I, did enough to win. But, when you're in enemy territory, the judges can really go either way. And luckily they gave me that nod.
Nice. Well, you're 2-0 now as an amateur. You mentioned earlier that you started training when you were 15. Just take me back to the beginning, how you got into MMA and just the evolution of your skill set.
Yeah, I remember, I was pretty young, man. I was like 8 or 9. And I remember just watching MMA with my stepdad, and it was always fun to watch. And I always thought about doing it. And then when I was 15, I was like, oh, I got to try it. And I started with jiu-jitsu and been doing it ever since.
And I got to imagine you're watching like all the big time events, UFC, Bellator. Who do you see winning this weekend at UFC 276? Give me your picks for the title fights and maybe the O'Malley Pedro fight.
I want Israel to win for sure. I love his striking style. He's got one of the best striking brains in UFC, I think. And the Max Holloway Volkanovski fight, that's a toss up. You never know with those guys. I mean, they went, 50 minutes together or however long, and I think Max might get it done. And Sean, I want Sean to win. I think Sean's going to KO him.
Is there someone in the UFC that maybe you feel like your fighting style is similar to, someone that you could kind of compare yourself to a little bit?
Not really, dude. I got my own style. Like I do it all. I'm not like a one-dimensional just stand up. I don't just wrestle. I don't just play jujitsu. Like I'm doing it all. I'm not like I don't fit into a category of one or the other. Like I've been doing MMA since I started, and that's how I define myself. So no, I don't really think so.
Is there a certain area of MMA that you like the most? Like, do you like training jujitsu more than striking or wrestling?
Dude, I love it all. I love the sport. The sport's what I fell in love with from the start, and doing it all is what I want to do.
What about one area where maybe it took you the hardest to grasp? Was there one specific discipline that maybe, it took you a little bit longer to get the hang of and really excel at?
I guess wrestling, but like I love jujitsu so much that like if anyone takes me down, I'm like, all right, let's go. Like this is my world. Once we get on the ground, like I'm gonna show that.
All right, well, let's dive into camp. Nostos, one of the best gyms out there, period. You got a
Hmm.
bunch of killers around you. You mentioned Nathaniel Grimard, Ross Tanar. I mean, Aaron
Yep.
Lacey's there now. So, I mean, you got a who's who of legit fighters around you. Day to day, who are the guys primarily that you're working with the most?
I mean, all the guys I listed, Ross, Nate, David, Brody, he's fighting tomorrow. I'm going down to Plymouth to corner him. My buddy Kyle Poofall, Nick Miles. I mean, we got literally a whole squad of killers there, and we've all been training for so long, and having a bunch of like savages in the room, it sharpens you. Iron sharpens iron. We always say it, and we're ready to show that.
What is Poofall's mindset like right now after dropping that title fight? I know that was against a really tough guy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not be bummed after a title fight. Like, I mean, he was obviously bummed after a title fight like that, but like, he lit that hall up, dude. And I've talked to him like about it, and after the fight and whatever, he's a dog, and he knows it, and he knows that he lit up that hall, and he's gonna get that belt back. Miguel, we want that rematch.
All right, I know the fans in New England would love to see that. What is it like having Aaron Lacey around the gym day to day? I know he's a savage to train with.
It's awesome having him around the gym. He's got a great mind for the sport, and him and Nate always are going at it, but he's also just like a good mind and a good body to have in there. He knows a lot about it, and it's cool to hear his insights on the sport.
And obviously having Devin Powell in your corner doesn't hurt, who's made it to the highest of levels in the sport. What has he told you just about, your skill set and ceiling? Has he been pretty complimentary about you maybe taking that jump to pro at some point in the future and maybe working towards a UFC contract?
I mean, he was talking about me going pro sooner than later. I told him like I want a good amount of fights in amateur. I don't want to overstay my welcome, but I'd like to like get my feet wet in the amateur division. And as far as ceiling for what he says the sky's the limit, and I'm going for the stars, dude.
And what would it mean for you to capture this NEF Fights belt? I mean, it's a gorgeous belt. To have that wrapped around your waist and be representing New England Fights as their amateur welterweight champion, I got to imagine it means a lot.
Yeah, it means a lot. I'm happy, and I'm obviously super excited to fight Curtis, but I was looking forward to that Mike Murray fight. I wanted that fight, and when I win that belt, I want to fight you, Mike.
Okay. Oh, I like that. How do you see that fight playing out if it does happen?
I think if Mike and I fight, it's going to be a striking match for sure. I think we're both really confident on the ground. He's a great purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and it'd be fun. That's what I'm looking to have in the cage. Like, I want to have fun. Like, I want to show up. I want to show off. I want to show my skill set. But I also want to have a good time, be myself.
What did you think of Mike's fight with Zach Faulkner? Like, break that down technically. Were you impressed or not impressed one way or the other?
I'm about to say, I'll channel my inner GSP. I'm not impressed by your performance. It was a great fight. I honestly thought Zach won, and no disrespect to either of them. That was a fantastic fight. But I thought Zach won. I thought the wrestling of Zach, the control time and whatnot, but it was really just a wrestling battle. They just wanted to lean on each other. They looked like they didn't want to fight.
Yeah, I mean, they were both dog tired, I feel like, towards that
Oh yeah.
round. But yeah, that was a fantastic night of fights, and in particular
Hmm.
that title fight. All right, let's dive into this matchup. NEF 48, Thompson's Point, July the 30th. Curtis Ouellette, he's 3-3. He started off kind of slow. He was 1-3, and he's reeled off 2 wins, and most notably his last fight at NEF 47, he had a big knockout over George Demers.
Hmm.
What do you think of this matchup stylistically? Do you like it for yourself?
I like it. I honestly, all the fights that I've had so far, I love the matchups. I love testing myself. I love fighting the best guys, and right now Curtis is the best guy in this division. He's 3-3. I'm not taking anything away from this kid. Um, Derek and him fought, and Derek Lambert is one of my main training partners. He won that fight. I don't, but again, I'm not taking anything away from this kid. Like he just had 2 fights. I haven't fought since October. He stayed active, but I'm excited. I like this matchup.
Have you noticed some progression in his game from early on when he first started his amateur career?
Yeah, he looks a lot more patient. I mean, I've watched a bunch of film on him. I'm sure he's tried to look up stuff for me too. But yeah, he looks a lot more patient. He's got heavy hands. I'll give him that. But I think everyone who does this sport trains right to have that power.
Do you prefer this fight to take place on the feet or on the ground? Like, what is your game plan? I mean, I'm sure you don't want to give your game plan away, right? But like, where do you feel like you're going to have the best advantage here to capture this belt and beat Curtis?
Everywhere. I think everywhere I got this for sure.
All right, give me your prediction. How do you get it done?
Prediction. I'd love a sweet KO. Obviously, that would be fantastic. It's probably one of the best feelings. But I'm cool with the submission too. I think, if he takes me down, I'm gonna submit him. He hasn't felt jujitsu like mine. I know where he trains. I know the guys he trains with, and the guys I train with are absolute savages.
I can't wait, man. After talking to you both, this easily is one of the marquee fights on the evening. Again, July 30th, NEF 48, the vacant 170 title goes down. Kyle Hill, Curtis Ouellette. Great talking to you for the first time, my man. Before I do let you go, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Kyle Solon Hill on Instagram, Kyle Hill on Facebook. Those are the only 2 social medias that I have. And then shout out to the sponsors, Hallsborough Roofing, Doors to Floors, and Mike Hagan's Mortar Oral.